Oh no. Oh. 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 Hi, I'm Danny Nightmare, and I'm bleeding? No, that's just ketchup. Tonight, we'll be reviewing John D. Bellows' 1978's disaster piece, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. Alright, that's better. Okay, based off the novella, The Tomatoes of Wrath, comes a PG horror, sci-fi, comedy, action, adventure musical? And it's hilarious. Basically just a spoof on any of those Attack of the Giant whatevers, usually a grasshopper or an ant or something, comes this hilarious parody about tomatoes. Yes, this isn't the movie that made us afraid to go in the water. It's the movie that made us afraid to eat our vegetables.
Technically, sir, tomatoes are fags.
He means fruits.
No comment. Though I love how badly dubbed the Japanese scientist is, it's kind of like a shout out to all the American releases of the Godzilla movies that were coming out at the time. Yes, this is a movie where the world is under attack by tomatoes. And while the president's press secretary, Jim Richardson, is doing his best to let the world know that there's nothing wrong, tomatoes are no threat, he even enlists a corporation called Mindmaker, where they will come up with campaigns to let the country know that there is no big problem here. The whole thing is kind of a political satire, where they use silly bumper stickers, STP, and no, not Stone Temple Pilots, but Stop the Tomato Program, making fun of a campaign called Whip Inflation Now, where it was heavily ridiculed for its slogan, Win. There is some actual highbrow, deep political humor hidden in this movie. I love the comedy in this film. It kind of reminds me of like watching Airplane or Airplane 2, but you know, it has like a Mars Attacks plot, but like with a Plan 9 from outer space production value. But the government's not just doing what it can to cover it up, there's also a team of scientists working around the clock trying to figure out a way to stop these tomatoes, because they're getting real rotten real quick. There's also Mason Dixon's elite team that have been assembled to help stop this tomato threat. You got Greg Kohlberg, the underwater expert. You got Sam Smith, the undercover and disguise expert. And I've seen a lot of hilarious portrayals of Adolf Hitler, but his might be my favorite.
He's our undercover expert. He's only disguised as Adolf Hitler.
On the team, you also have an Olympic gold medal swimmer, Greta Attenborough. I don't know, I probably really butchered her name, but not as bad as those tomatoes butchered her. But don't feel too bad for her. I mean, she probably only got those gold medals by eating so much steroids. Of course, we have the most memorable character from the whole movie, probably, Finn Letter, the commando expert, who's always running around with his parachute out, aka the parachute guy. I imagine it must be really hard to parkour with a parachute behind you. Hell, this was 78. He was parkouring before it was cool. There's also Lois Fairchild, and she's a reporter who's gonna definitely get the scoop on this tomato problem. So I don't know why they didn't just ask her friend Superman to save the day.
Hi there, Lois.
Oh, hi, Clark. The American public has a right to know.
Up and away!
You can't ignore the press.
Man of Steel's not the only man who makes a cameo in this movie, so does Spot the talking dog.
What is it, Spot? What's in there?
Gosh, Billy, I don't know. You stay there. I'll go look.
Oh yeah, I said this is a musical. Now I can't say every song in here was hilarious and great, but some of them were, and the best one of course being the theme song itself.
Attack of the Killer Tomatoes! Attack of the Killer Tomatoes!
Damn, is that catchy. No wonder they turned this into a Saturday morning cartoon.
Attack of the Killer Tomatoes!
only actual problem with this movie is the cover art. It's great, but it was a little too great. When I first saw this on VHS, I looked at that box cover and I said, damn, this movie's gonna be epic and great. It was, but I was disappointed because the tomatoes, yeah, they don't actually have mouths, they don't have big old vines and pick up women like that. They do kind of talk and giggle. It kind of sound like gibberish-speaking member berries. And when I got older, I appreciated it a lot more than when I was a kid. I liked it as a kid, but like I said, that cover art made me think this was going to be a lot more epic and brutal. It wasn't. It was a lot funnier than I thought it was going to be, but I'm glad that they made that cartoon. And then in the sequels, and yeah, there are a few sequels. There's Return of the Killer Tomatoes, Killer Tomatoes Eat France, and possibly a few I'm not listing. But before I get really into the spoilers and stuff, I'm gonna have to say, should you see this movie? Is it that legendary or is it that crappy that you should avoid it? This movie made a big splash when it came out. It was a huge laugh. Not everybody could make a movie back then, but you know what? These people said, damn it, we're going to make a movie. And it was quite funny, so I would say you should definitely check it out. Definitely see this film. It might not be your taste, but it's actually something I think that should be shown in like film schools and stuff. It deserves a spot on the shelf in cinema history that I think everybody should kind of take a look at. Is it scary? God, no. Is it funny? Yeah, it is. Though I have to say, like Wilbur's Parachute, it does drag on a little long. A lot of that plot consists of Lois trying to get that scoop from Mason. However, she keeps having run-ins with Wilbur, and it's enough to drive her screaming. Mason's a little oblivious to her problems, and he's got some of his own. Someone has put a hit out on him.
Sir, I think somebody's shooting at you. Where do you think?
However, my favorite scene in this movie that's just hilarious actually has nothing to do with even tomatoes. It's just a botched assassination on Mason. I love that. Mason not only gets chased by assassins, but he gets chased by a tomato, and that's when he stumbles onto a clue that it's actually going to lead to them being defeated.
That's right, you've been asking for it, you've been waiting for it. Here it is, boys and gals. It's Ronnie Desmond's Puberty Love.
Now, I've seen this ending many times. Can't say which movie did it first. I always think of Mars Attacks. I know they definitely didn't do it first. I think they did it probably best.
What's happening to him? What's killing him? I think it must be my music.
Apparently bad music kills the threat. This movie, I felt it was a little cheap way to end it, but hey, whatever. Yes, the song Puberty Love? Don't quite get it myself. Maybe that's because this movie's a little before my time, but that shrinks the tomatoes down into their normal size. They're still evil little bastards, but humans can then just stomp the crap out of them. Oh, crap, that one came prepared. No, apparently reading the sheet music to Puberty Love does the trick too. Also, it turns out that the president's secretary, Jim Richardson, was behind those attempted assassinations. And he was about to reveal his plan when... Well, Wilbur came through in the end, and that's all that really matters. There are some pretty cool epic battle scenes in this movie that involve some miniatures, which I think they actually did a pretty good job. I've seen a lot of big monster movies that came out in the 70s where I think they didn't do quite as good of a job. This movie was cut pretty well when it comes to that stuff. And there is an epic helicopter crash. However, that was not intentional. In fact, there was some debris from the rototiller that just barely missed some of the cast and crew, and thankfully nobody was really hurt. The pilot did receive some minor injuries, but wow. I'm glad that at least they got it on camera because that really upped the movie's budget on effects. Not the best way to go about it, though. Hilarious scene with Sam Smith sent undercover as a tomato, and you know what? He was actually learning a lot from them, but he messed up just slightly when he asked them the wrong question.
Say, will somebody please pass the ketchup?
What? Tomatoes are funny. Uma Thurman thinks so. Tell him, Uma.
3 tomatoes are walking down the street. Papa tomato, mama tomato, and baby tomato. Baby tomato starts lagging behind, and Papa tomato gets really angry. Goes back and squishes him. Says, ketchup.
See? She gets it.
Ketchup.
Tomatoes are funny. And they're scary. Well, I mean, just as scary as red balloons are. So yeah, you should definitely check it out. It's good for some laughs. But, as my friend from Dead West from Screaming Soup would say...
But what do I know? Well, I kill tomato movies.
And if you'd like to get one of these awesome shirts for yourself, please check out in the description below. There's a link to Screaming Soup's merch store. Cut! And a special shout out and thank you to Michael Finn, our patron that helped us come up with this video. It was a total blast to do and I hope you enjoyed it. And for those of you that would like to help us choose our future reviews, please go to patreon.com/HorrorAddictsTV to see how you can join the family.
Alright, you guys. They've gone now.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah.